Hinges this time. You can see the bolt holes where they bolt up, and I think I mentioned this before. The small holes, they're a pilot hole, an alignment hole. This is a half of the hinge that bolts to the door here. You can see right here, and you can see where these pilot holes are drilled next. See it next to the bolt hole there. So that will mark and line up the hinges. That part was done on these doors when the car was brought to my shop. These hinges were disassembled. They needed bushings put in them. So the body half of the hinge that mounts to the cowling here, it was still on the car when it was brought to me. So I drilled the guide holes right there. And then you can see on the body. So instead of me making a lot of boring videos about how to rebuild hinges, because there's a lot of those on YouTube, I just went ahead and did these. You buy a bushing kit, you can see the bronze bushings in here, and you can see them right here on the new pins, right there. So I drove the old bushings out and drove the new bushings in, got those in place. You can see them in between right there. Got the new pins in. These are the upper hinges. They're the easy ones to do. Nothing in the way on those. You can see how tight these are now. Nice and tight. That'll tighten up the doors real nice on this car. The other hinges, of course, the lower hinges, they're the ones with the spring stop detente arm on them. You can see right here, that's what holds your door in place when you push it back. You have to be able to compress this spring. Well, the problem is you can't drive this pin in with the spring in place. So you have to remove that spring. You can put it in a vise, compress it, and that's not a problem. The problem is there's no way to get it out of there as long as this roller pin is in place. So that's where it gets a little more difficult. This pin with the roller on top is put in from the factory, and it's pressed over on this end. It's mushroomed over to hold it in place. So you have to grind that off and remove that pin in order to do these hinges. Grind it off, drive this pin out, and then you can get to the hinge pin right here, the pivot pin, to get that out once you get the spring out of here. So like I said, there's a lot of videos on YouTube on these, how to rebuild these. But that's what we're doing right now, rebuild the hinges, and I will go ahead and we'll finish prepping these for paint, get those ready to go, get all the bolts ready and paint those. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. Got these all ready to go, and we'll make some more videos as we proceed. Alright, we're on the Camaro here today, and we had to enlarge some of the trim holes for the new reproduction emblems. These are all correct. We don't have to worry about those too much. Decided to do some panel fitment on this car. See the moldings back here. So I decided to align our panels because I hadn't seen the trunk lid doors or hood on this car. So that's what we've worked on here. 3/16 gaps. They're nice and uniform. Had to do some adjustments up here where the sail panel meets the edge of this deck lid. The sail panel was up, at least 1/8 of an inch right here. So we brought that down. Nice uniform gap across the bottom line here. The previous owner that took this apart, he did real nice about bagging everything, things like this. That's the right side top bolt that had a shim in it. So here on the right side on the top bolt, we put that shim in, nothing lined up. He had drilled a hole here in the hinge as a guide marker to locate the hinge and the lid back together, but it was drilled right where there's another hole in the trunk lid underneath, so it was of no use to me. So we bolted it on and it absolutely did not fit. We were way off. I've got a thin shim up here, medium shim back here that it came with, and then on this side I had to put 2 thin shims in to get where this side had to go. Lid's got nice balance to it. The weight of the spoiler on. The lid will stay up on its own like this, not a problem. Comes down real nice. It'll sit right here. There's closing the lid. Right there we have it. When I adjust this, I'll leave just this little bit right here. You can see that amount of movement. That allows for the rubber. With this lid in the up position, when I pull up, we're nice and level right here, the top of our latch. Same way over here, everything's nice and level. So we decided at this point I better mock this car back together, put the doors back on, front fenders back on, make sure we've got everything finished up on and guide pin marked the way it needs to be for realignment. So we're not doing all that with fresh paint. I had showed before when I rebuilt these hinges that I drilled a hole right here. See that hole? That's my, that's my guide hole. And I've got one more on this other side to put on yet, and I'll show you how we do that. Hinge here. And you can see right here, there's my guide hole. Goes right here. Top one to bottom. So what to do with these, start these bolts. Get a bolt started here. See this one. Okay, I put these guide pins in here. They're more than punches. Missing a bolt down here on this bottom one. And there you go. That's how you line up those hinges. Hold that in. Hang on to those, there we go. There you go, guys. That's how you line these things up, using these holes. That's all there is to them. Makes the job a lot quicker and easier when you're reassembling it once the paint is on. You can see I had drawn around this one with a marker before, and then using those guide pins, we're right on with that mark. So we're going to mount the doors back on these. We'll go from there, we'll check our door gaps and so forth. I'll make some more videos as we proceed with that.